Hello my 7 Deadly Sins family and friends, welcome back to another video. I just wanted to showcase Longsword Meliodas. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a bit crazy. You can nuke super fast, but there's some new tech that my friend Flanks found out with Slater. He is absolutely insanely good at boosting damage. For any team, it doesn't have to be for Meliodas, any DPS, he's really good, and it's in his axe form. Now, if you can have this axe, even better. So we go to hero details, we'll have a look. He doesn't really keep out his damage at all. You just want this axe because you want him to hit first, and then that means that the enemies take an extra 20% damage for 20 seconds. If you have this maxed out, which is possible, free to play, not too difficult, I can show you a really easy way for free to get dupes to salvage to then fill this up. You need 10 dupes in total from my recollection. It goes up to 50%, which is insane, it's wild. It's like a free 50% extra damage for 20 seconds. What makes him so good, and he technically could be even better than Manny in some cases, is just like Manny. When an allied hero attacks a bleeding enemy, their crit damage increases by 30%. So Manny, if you don't have the 5th dupe into her 5th potential, she does 30%. We don't care about the magic charging. She does 30%, so it's the exact same, and he's an SR unit. Now, what's even better is his Q. Is when you fully charge it, it will inflict bleed for 20 seconds, so you're going to get that extra 30% crit damage. It also lowers their crit resistance. So if they've got some resistance to crit, so you don't crit as much, this is going to help you crit more, basically. And I'm not certain. So take this with a grain of salt, but potentially if they have less than 20% crit resistance and it is allowed to go into the negative, it could infer into actually giving you a bit more crit rate. But again, that's just an assumption and not necessarily true. Now, if you don't have any other if you don't have like Manny that you want to do this with, or if you don't want to use Bug, because I'm going to show you with Bug as well, he also has this incredible ult that he does a bit of damage, but it inflicts deep wounds, which increases damage taken by 25%. So look at this, 30% crit damage, 20% less crit resistance, and an extra 25% increased damage from an SR that you get for free. That's insane. So Manny is a little better for the crit damage if you have the P5, and yes, she does have this to reduce all elemental resistance by 20%, which is okay, but I think this is actually a better multiplier. Now, why you could use Bug, again, 2 free SR units that you get, so this thing is what we're going to show is crazy, is with his ultimate, it inflicts Curse, which it does a bit of damage, decreases darkness resistance by 15%, which is very close to this, so it's not even needed really. But if you read this, if the enemy's curse, their darkness damage increases by 20% when an ally hero attacks it. So we have 30% crit damage here, 30% crit damage by Manny, that's 60%. More chance to crit, potential for 25% increased damage here. We won't be using this though. I'll tell you why in a second. If you have time, which I don't think you do, but I guess you could start out with him in the start of the fight instead of Slater, and have the book that is the same as Blazing Axe. I don't have it, so I can't show you. Then you could do this for a little bit of more decreased resistance. So even more stuff. And then you've got, they basically take more darkness damage because of the resistance has gone down and this. Now, we're going to use Longsword. If you don't know what's so good about this is you basically get into your burst form. You use this once or twice depending on your potential. If you've got potential 5, you only use once. Then you just spam E and it does a ton of damage. But you think, oh, if I'm using all these 4 units, how am I going to get into burst? Well, you have your combo. You can do it with Manny or you can do it with Bug. I think Bug is the better one because of his ultimate. It doesn't show you a description of what the combo ult does, which is really, really annoying, but I think they just basically use both their ults at the same time. But what is also good about it is it instantly bursts the enemy. Instantly. So you can just go straight into your combo. You don't need to use your Gila, your Tristan, your Drake, your Jericho, your Diane to fill up the burst bar. So with this setup, and if you are strong enough, if you have the attack power and all the stats, you may just kill the boss super fast. We are gonna showcase it within Dragon Hell, and what's to notice is Ancient Dragon has damage reduction and more resistances to elemental damage just in general. Yes, it is weak to dark, but it's still really tanky, so your damage is actually reduced. So even if I crit, I'm actually going to do less damage because of the damage reduction. Make sure I've got the bar. I do have the bar filled. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with Slater. I'm going to run in and I'm going to use my Q. I'm going to switch to Manny. I'm going to use her Q to lay the field for more crit damage. I am then going to switch to Meliodas because I've only got 20 seconds before all these debuffs and buffs run out. Attack a couple of times, ult, press Q, and then spam my E. Let's see how fast I do this because I have done a couple of upgrades with my enchants, and I have got a quicker time than I had previously, but I was carrying someone, which I believe they do get a bit tankier. Anyway, let's see how this goes. So I usually just run towards the dragon whilst he's doing these things, hit, and then you can come back, and then it's going to fly up, and you want to stand by these pebbles on the ground. I've got these pebbles on the ground, a bit of rubble on the ground, and wait, and you're going to come down right onto me, and we go to Manny. Meliodas attack a couple of times, combo ult, spin, E, E, and gone. Done. 35 seconds. That's it. Now, if I had more crit rate, more crit chance, that would have gone down a lot faster. I've done it in 3 E's before because I was just a bit lucky with my crits. Unfortunately, I've recently changed this and lost like 11% crit chance. Okay, we're back. That didn't take too long at all. So we're going to go into Orgot, which is obviously not as hard as Dragon, but this is one of the probably first hell dungeons people are going to farm for the star pieces of gear to get your engraving. So let's see if we can top that. Let's start with Slater. I have enough of my Book of Stars. So I don't need to recharge it, which is going to save time, which is great. Hopefully I'm not going to get CC'd by him. Thank goodness that hit, because I thought it was going to miss. Thankfully, one. So I actually didn't do that as good as I could have, but there we go, 33 seconds, even better than my best. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, we're back. We have got ult gauge ready. Let's get into Gila Hell. I've done about in a minute, and that was before I've done any upgrades or really knew about the Slater strat. It was just with the Longsword and Manny basically. So let's see how it goes. She's really annoying because she moves around so much. She sees you so much with her like swipe attacks and the explosion on the ground. So it's just really frustrating fight, really. If she didn't move around so much, she'd probably die like 10 seconds. But let's see how this goes. She's going to jump back. Yeah, she's going to jump back and use my Q on her. Manny. This. And Meliodas. She's going to do something crazy. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there you go. 300k crit, if you saw that. Down here, 300k. There we go. Sub-minute. Okay, that went pretty well. I remembered that after the ult, she jumps back. It's really hard to see, though, because like, of all the animations. I wish there was a way to reduce the transparency of it. But there you go. Sub-minute on this as well. Pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy about that. Now, there's the spider, which is quite tough. I've had some real issues with the spider in the past because if you nuke it so fast and so hard and you allow it to go into phase 2 where it goes up into the ceiling and you have to destroy the eggs, when it comes down, it just doesn't know what to do. So it basically goes through all of its stages whilst it's in its second phase by charging non-stop. So usually it charges 3 times, it stops, it jumps in the middle, and then it can summon little spiders, it throws webs on the ground and spits at you and stuff. And then after that's done, it will charge again. And kind of repeat, and then maybe if you take a bit of time, it'll go back to the ceiling and you have to do the egg thing again. And obviously, solo, I can't take this team, unfortunately, because I need a fire unit, which means I'm going to need to bring Gila, for example, and because it's a longer fight, I'm going to need to bring someone to help me burst, so it's going to be Jericho. Also, I would like to say, with this Slater tech, you don't have to use the Longsword. Dual sword is perfectly fine, and it can do it like the Gila fight extremely fast. After I've done the spider for you, I'm gonna add on afterwards the guy who showed me about Slater flanks him doing the Gila fight with dual swords, and he does it in like less than a minute as well. So that's how strong Slater is, you know. So I'm gonna get through the spider bit until I get to the actual boss, and I'll cut back to there so you don't have to watch me going through the boring little dungeon and do the mini bosses. So we're here at the boss in about 3 minutes. I forgot to charge up my ult gauge, and I didn't quite get there with the spider on the way, so I might have to try with Jericho to begin with, but then we will still get to got this just fine. Okay. Down. There we go. Okay. Even though I didn't have double ult, that was pretty clean. and thankfully it didn't bug out because I didn't burst it too hard at the beginning. Okay, we're here at Red Demon. We are world level 4, and it's pretty comical how quick these die, even on world level 4. This one's a bit annoying because we can't pre-hold our map, so we have to wait until it starts glowing. Probably hold it now. Yeah, he got it. Manny. Double ult. Instead, in one, I didn't even do my second one, and it died. So pretty cool. Let's go and do. We're going to do this one because for some reason this one just has really low defense or something, so you can do some big numbers. So. I think we'll do one more. Let's do the frog or the toad. So here we're at the frog or the toad, whatever you want to call it. Let's see what bit of fun we can have with this as well. And of course it spins. Don't you just love it? Up, Manny, Meliodas, double ult. And dead. It's fantastic. I know you kind of wonder, thinking, oh, like this is crazy. You're all stacked out. There's no way I can do something like this. Of course you can. Of course you can. I'm just overkill. I wish there was higher health enemies to showcase this on. Unfortunately, there's not. P5 is probably all you need. Even P4. You know, the P5 is quite nice because you do a bit more damage, and then it doesn't reduce the darkness burst as much, so you can probably do an extra one before it runs out. And it gives you an extra haste. But you know, you get normal skill power already in P2 that you get for free. But literally before I had this weapon, I had an SR weapon, and it was doing 400k damage anyway. So even with SR weapon, you can sort this out. Everyone's got a free engraving already. You can get that with Meliodas. If you get some friends, or go on the official Discord and ask for help, you can farm up these accessories from the Hell Dungeons. I'm on there pretty much every day. If you're on the SEA server, that's what I'm on. And see me online, just ask me. Been helping out tons and tons of people, multiple runs. I don't ask anything in return, but if you wish, I do have a coffee link that you can give me a little tip. I think 2 people have done it. I don't care, you know. If you want to, you can. Whatever. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to stop carrying. You know, I'm enjoying myself too much. But yeah, you can do this too. Trust me. Like other people have done it. They have like half or like 10k less attack than me, and they're doing crazy stuff. Maybe not quite one-turning the dragon on hell, but still crazy damage. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed finding out about Slater and how nuts he is, with the axe build being free. Anyway, I hope to see you in game. I hope to carry you if you want to, or just play with you, even if you're as strong as me. And if you do wish to send me a tip because you like this advice or because you carried me, wonderful. If not, all good. I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you next time.